Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to do a little bit of an update into Deliveroo and the IPO that happened with Deliveroo. So a few days ago I made a video on the Deliveroo IPO and my thoughts before it happened, and basically in that video I went on to say there was a few things that I kind of didn't like with this stock and I won't be purchasing the stock, and in the longer term I probably won't purchase the stock. Anyway, since that video I thought it wasn't going to be a brilliant IPO, but look what happened. The IPO actually turned out to be the worst IPO in the history of the London Stock Exchange, and yeah, that was kind of crazy because I saw the IPO and I thought, I don't like it, but at no point I thought it was going to be the worst one ever. But the stock has absolutely sunk. I think it's down over 30% since the IPO, and yeah, I thought it'd be worth a little update. And as well as that, the video did a lot better than what I thought it would. Like, I thought I'd talk about an IPO, especially on the London Stock Exchange, probably won't get that many views, but it really did. And I think quite a few people are coming in to say, I think quite a few people are naturally trained now that, if you see a dip, is it a time to go buy the company? And I certainly still have that kind of thought, even though I don't like a company. If it has a big massive dip, is it a buy? And towards the end of the video I'll say if my opinion's changed and if I do now think it's a buy, or if I still think it's one to avoid. So we'll get onto that towards the end. So if you are new, subscribe if you could, and you're always here, smash the like button as always, guys. But yeah, we'll get on to the worst London IPO that has ever happened. So first of all, I think we should go through some of the problems. Now, there has been quite a few things that have been pushed out here as the root cause of why this IPO hasn't done well. A few of them vary from different things. So basically, the reason why you go IPO, when you basically pay someone to promote your stock, one of the things they're saying is that it wasn't promoted that well, and especially when you think these guys spend millions for these guys to promote the IPO. And yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, I think I saw advertised on Deliveroo's own app, which you don't normally see if this company's going public. So yeah, I guess that's kind of one thing. But I think one of the things that was said is that they selected the wrong date. So if you're paying someone millions, you would expect them to select the right date, because the IPO basically happened in the last week of the first quarter, which isn't a great date for investment firms to get in. So they say that was probably one of the reasons why it didn't do well. The other reason is the valuation, being a very rich valuations. Now, IPOs are normally high valuations. You're not going to put your stock on the stock market and put it down at a cheap valuation. It wouldn't make sense. So IPOs are, I think the classic IPO saying is it's probably overpriced. So yeah, and I think the SPAC one is stupidly priced something. But yeah, the IPOs are normally known as probably overpriced. So that's what they're known as. So I don't really get the valuation point of view. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an amazing valuation. Like I said on the video, I thought, it wasn't a cheap valuation, but I don't think it was ridiculous. So I won't personally blame the valuation too much. But another one was that said they were selecting the wrong date to be using or to put the stock IPO. Another one that they were saying is that the short sellers might have been the root cause, and another one was saying that there's potential that this company would never be able to feature in the FTSE 100, which might be another one. Like I say, very big claims. I think personally that if a company is good enough and has the attractive value to investors, I think investors would have stepped in no matter what the date is. And no matter what the situation is with the company, I think if you look at a company, you think this is a really good company and the share price will go up because it's going to be successful, I think that will be you'd still see it being very well received. Now, so I don't think the problems was that much. I think maybe there could have been a better job with the IPO, don't get me wrong, especially the date selecting, maybe could have been better. But I still think the reasons why the IPO struggled is because I think many people like me saw the company and went, I don't like it. And I think that's the main problem. I think that when you look into the company, still very unprofitable and still very hard to see how it is going to get to profit, even though it has fantastic revenue growth. I think at some point you have to go, the company has to make profit. And at the moment, it just isn't. It's just not getting anywhere close to profitability, and it won't do for the next few years. And I think that was the one thing that everyone struggles with. And I think as well, when you look at the company, so much competition. It's not like it's a brand new company that you're like, oh, no one's done this before. There's already so much out there on the stock market already with different competition. So I think that's one of the problems. And I think as well, some news articles started coming out, and this is what I said on the video as well, that one of the problems is that this company and the business model they have is always going to attract criticism from the media and even their own workers. Like, there's always rumours coming out, oh, the Deliveroo riders are off on strike because of the model they have, where it's not actually like where the workers are paid on a minimum wage basis. It's actually like how many deliveries you do, and that could actually mean that the riders don't earn the minimum wage through that structure. And I think that's kind of getting clamped down at the moment. I think when you look at the Uber situation, I think that's the first one that's kind of get clamped down on this sort of thing. And I think Deliveroo will, same again with riders not being happy, with media trying to push out that they don't like this business model. I think it's a bit of a it can get quite ugly. I've been in companies before a bit like that, and sometimes the share price will move because of this situation. So I think how the workers are being treated is going to be a big issue down the line as well. So I think the problems were maybe some things to do with the IPO, but I think most people were like me and looked at the company and went, I'm just not attracted to it because of them problems. So I don't think the problems were that much with the IPO. I just think that people don't want to buy the company because I don't think it's an amazing company, and I think that's what everyone else saw. Now, the one big problem I did have with this IPO is that it might affect other IPOs down the line. And obviously the US, there's millions of IPOs still going to happen. They do very well. You only have to look on this channel when we covered the Airbnb IPO, the Affirm IPO, the Coupon IPO. All of them IPOs are doing amazing, and you've seen so many more IPOs go to the US stock market where it's a lot more attractive. The last thing you want to see is a big company like this, a big company like Deliveroo, coming onto the London Stock Exchange and it getting slaughtered, because then you're going to have shareholders thinking, do we want to take it public? Do we want to go on the London Stock Exchange after seeing this? And that's the only thing I don't want to happen, is that it affects other companies coming here, because as UK investors, obviously we get some benefits from buying UK stocks. So that's something that I wouldn't like to happen, and I think this might have damaged it a little bit. So that's the only thing. One of the big companies I would love to see come on the UK stock market is Gymshark, whether it happen or not. But that's one I'd like to see, and I don't want Gymshark to see like, oh, Deliveroo are a decent sized company, and they've kind of been affected, and what's the point of going public, because as shareholders we're just going to be in a worse situation. So yeah, I think that's a one thing. Just on the problem side of it, I think valuation, and one of them was saying that they were racking up the valuation quicker and quicker. But yeah, I just same again like what I said earlier on the valuation side. I don't think it was too much of a problem. So I guess it kind of leaves us with the last one is, will I buy? Well, really the problems, like I said earlier, I still see the problems. I still struggle with, even though now it's on a 30% dip. When I look at the company, I still see the profitability problems. I still see how they'll get with how the pay system works for the workers. I see that the media hitting them very hard, which always scares investors. So you got that situation, competition. I think the business model is, not really, there's so much out there. How can it expand past that? I just don't see the business model that attractive to me. It hasn't got a massive moat on the company. So yeah, I still struggle with the company, even on a 30% dip. If it's a company I don't like and it's still on a 30% dip, even though it makes it a bit more attractive on the valuation side of it, I still think it's a 5 out of 10 company, and I don't really want to buy 5 out of 10 companies. I want to be buying 10 out of 10 companies in the portfolio. So for me, I still will see better opportunities out here than putting my money in this one, even if it's on a dip. So yeah, not every dip is a buy. Unfortunately, some dips do happen because the companies aren't that great, and like I say, I still think there's a few problems with this one. So yeah, overall, I'm still not going to buy Deliveroo IPO, and just thought I'd cover a few of the points on here, because I noticed what happened is I brought the Deliveroo video out, and everyone was like, oh yeah, I'm probably not going to buy this one. And then because of the dip, like, so many more people came in and watched it, and like, is it a buy now? It's on a 30% dip. So hopefully this video kind of clears everything up with Deliveroo anyway. But hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button. Let me know some UK stocks that you would like to see come public as well. I think that's always interesting. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next video.